Hi, welcome to Off the Cuffs. I'm excited. Today we have the county manager with us, Shontell. But first of all, I want to wish you all a happy new year, a top of the year to you. Wish all of your dreams and all the things you hope come true in the year 2025. Welcome to Off the Cuffs, Ms. Robinson. We're excited to have you here. Sorry it took so long for you to get here, but you're here, and welcome to Off the Cuffs.
Thanks for having me, Sheriff.
No, it's good to see you. Good to have you here. You know, a lot of people know what a county manager does. Some people don't. They have no idea what the importance and how integral you are in the success of not only the sheriff's office, but so many other things. And so what we always do when we have guests here is we like for them to introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about you. I know a little bit about you, having worked with you for the last 6 years. Whew, Lord help us. But
it's been great.
Yeah, it really has. And so tell us about, who are you? Where are you from? I mean, a lot of people just see you as this county manager that shows up and gets it done, but tell us some things about you.
Yeah, sure. So I was born and raised in Louisiana. In a small town called Belle Chase. It's about 20 minutes from New Orleans. I always say we're at the bottom of the boot, and Plaquemines Parish has about 10,000 people.
Wow.
I am the daughter of a nurse and a crane operator. I have 3 siblings. I'm married, have 3 kids.
Wow.
Two are grown-ish, and then 1 is still in the house.
Wow.
And so that's kind of a little bit about me.
So tell me, how did you end up here in Forsyth County from New Orleans?
Yeah, so my husband is a retired U.S. Marine, and so we've moved around a lot. His last duty station was at Camp Lejeune, and so when he was retiring in 2013, we were just trying to look, where do we want to go? Where do we want to be? I'm from Louisiana. He's from Massachusetts, and so we liked North Carolina, just not necessarily staying in a military town. And so when I saw the job opening for the Human Resources Director at that time, I applied and was offered the Human Resources job in 2014.
Wow.
And so we moved here.
So you were the HR manager from 2014 until what, last year?
So I was a Human Resources Director from 2014 until January 2020. And so in January 2020, I was promoted to an Assistant County Manager, then Deputy County Manager. Yeah. And then I was promoted to this County Manager position in July of 2024.
So let me ask you a question. So it's safe to say you've been here about, 10 years, right?
Yes.
And there's pretty rapid progression from HR to the county manager. As a matter of fact, you are the first female woman of color to be the county manager of Forsyth County, the 4th largest county in the state. So I guess I got a lot of questions I'm going to ask you. Some probably may be a little uncomfortable, but let me ask you a question. So what does the county manager do? Because a lot of people have no clue what a county manager. So what does a county manager do?
So essentially, I serve as the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer of Forsyth County. We have a $583 million budget, and so I'm responsible for managing the budget. We have over 2,500 positions, 25 departments, and so we oversee things such as libraries and parks and emergency services and public health and social services and behavioral health and just the gamut of kind of what county government does. And so I serve as the Chief Executive of that operation.
Wow. What do you say the budget was again?
$583 million.
Wow. Make sure I make a note of that so we can ask for a little more money this year. Yeah, so what is that like being the CEO of a county? I mean, what's a day like doing that?
There is no day that is alike. I mean, what I would say my job is I'm a fixer. I fix a lot of problems and challenges that just come along the way. But I do have a fantastic team. I have 2 great deputy county managers, great department leaders, as well as a great team of employees. But I would say there's no standard day. Every day is just a new challenge. And so we just try to tackle those problems of the day.
So how many people does a county employ?
We have 2,500 positions.
2,500 positions?
Yes.
Wow. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
That's social services. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So when you look at where this county is, and you've been here 10 years, and where it was, have we grown? Are we stagnant? What do you see, or what have you seen?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think that there's been a lot of growth in this county. And so it'll be interesting with the next census to see what those true numbers look like. I think, but the needs of the county has also shifted, especially post-COVID. It's just not quite the same. And you can't put your finger 100% on it, right? But it is different. I think people are different. I think the challenges are different. But I'm also, in 2025, I feel really positive and optimistic that we have the right people in place, the right organizations, the right leaders to really move this community forward.
So when you talk about services that we provide for the people of the county, would you say that if you had to grade us, and I want you to be fair, do you think we meet the needs of the people if you had to grade us?
I think we meet the needs, but I think that we have opportunities for improvement. So I definitely think we can do a better job, and I'm committed to doing a better job to improve our services. So some of the things that we're doing, especially in the health and human services arena, is really working towards breaking down the silos, one, amongst ourselves so that we can better serve our residents, because in some instances, even though public health and social services are on the same campus, they don't always know even what each other is doing. And so how can we best serve the whole person kind of across the county? And so I think we just have opportunities across various departments, our 25 plus departments, to work better together. I think we can enhance our relationships with community organizations because to me, we're all in this together. Government can't fix every single problem in this community. And so, I've been really trying to do a lot of kind of community outreach and relationship building to help move the community forward.
So what would you say some of the priorities are? So when you say needs of the county, so when you look and you see, because you have the ability to see all the issues, as you say, solving problems, as you say, all the services, all the things that are needed to make this county go. What are some of the top priorities that you think we have to fix immediately, if you had to look and answer that question?
That's a great question. I think a lot of things are really driven by what I would categorize as the social determinants of health. So I think, poverty plays into that, housing, transportation. I think those types of things impact individuals' ability to be able to just survive. And so I think if we can figure out ways to improve economic mobility of our residents. So I always tell our teams that if we're doing a good job, especially on health and human services, then we're working ourselves out of a job. Meaning, if we could figure out ways to have people that's become less reliant on food stamps and less reliant on Medicaid, and figure out the ways of programs that will help lift them up. And so I believe in giving people a hand, to help them to have impact their lives in a more positive way. And so I think if we're doing a good job, we're kind of working ourselves out of a job, because then people wouldn't need our assistance. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So a lot of times, when I talk to people moving around in the community, they talk about the poverty. They talk about the homelessness, right? And so let's just talk briefly about those two. What role would you say that the county or you could play in shifting that from the poverty that we see and the homelessness?
So I'll start with poverty. We do have a community economic development department. I think economic development in our community is really important.
So what do they do?
Meaning trying to bring more jobs into our community. And so we partner with Greater Winston-Salem Inc. with that. But I think the more jobs we have here in our community, then we have our residents that's able to work and have more livable wages. And so I think the county is a huge partner in that. I think that, we also have programs like down payment assistance for homes that sometimes people don't know about. And so we also have to do a better job explaining the services that we have for individuals. And so we're committed to improving our communications of that. So just kind of in general, I think that there's lots of things as on the county we could be partnering on and doing a better job on really making sure that our residents know about some of these services that can assist them with economic mobility. And I would say on homelessness, that is challenging topic. And so, on the county side, we do not receive funding for like homelessness. It's specifically the city does through HUD funding. However, we support our homeless population through our Health and Human Services programs. And so we interact daily. We have like mobile integrated health team that goes out and interact with individuals trying to assist with mental health and substance use issues. That's not to say every homeless individual that's their problem. We also have, again, public assistance that can assist, food assistance. We have health clinic kinds of programs. And so we have things to support the homeless population, but we don't have specific funding just to say.
Who set the wages for team members or for the people that are part of the county? Who set the wages? Like when you talk about livable wages, you said that when you started talking. Who set the wages for the people in this county?
So for government employees, right, our county commissioners establish our wages. But for the community, the state has an established minimum wage, and that's kind of where that starts. And so if individuals are trying to boost livable wages, part of it is going to your state legislators to try to boost the minimum wage.
Right. So I know the state has minimum wage, but then the county comes in and sets the wages for the positions that they have.
For county employees. That is correct.
Right. And so, when I look around this county, people always talk about hope, right? What they're hoping for. A lot of things come back to funding, right? I think that funding moves the needle, funding moves people. So I guess, as we always say, the new color of hope is green, money. So when you look at this whole big picture of what's happening, do we have the funding to move the needle to where it's noticeable? Because what I see, and I could be wrong, I'm usually wrong once a year, but what I see is that we're just moving in circles. We don't have what I would call forward progress, right? We move and then come back 3 steps. And so, and I've had personal conversations with you, and you are a very intellectual individual. I've actually been impressed with you over the years. I have. And I know that you have to operate within limits. But the place that you are now as the county manager, right, you have freedom to change. You have freedom to change the whole landscape of a county. And so my question to you is that when you're sitting by yourself and no one is in your ear and you have those moments, what is a priority to you? What are your passions, or what are you passionate about in this county?
So I am very passionate about improving the lives of our residents. I want to see us be the county that people want to move to, come to. I don't want to see people on the corner homeless or people that's living in poverty. That drives me. Like, I am truly passionate about serving people, and I want us to be.
So what's the poverty rate in Forsyth County?
I do not have that stat in front of me, Sheriff. Okay. But but in terms of, the state, we have opportunities for improvement. Yeah.
When I see poverty a lot, I see it. What I would love to know is that I would love for somebody to break it down for me and show me where the poverty is. I have an idea. I pretty much know where it is, but I would like to see the raw data, the numbers as to where the poverty is, and how can we put people together that can look at this. And what I would love for you to consider is actually looking at some of these things that you talk about and maybe partnering with the city manager and whoever else and say, let's put a task force of people together that can identify the problems, give real solutions to the problems, right? Get some businesses involved, get some folk in this community that have the ability to move the needle. Because, again, I see a lot of poverty, I see a lot of illiteracy, I see a lot of homelessness, and it's not sustainable. I mean, eventually it will start to erode the quality of life that we're hoping for, right? And so I'm going to move on. You being the first female county manager, that's a lot of pressure. I tell you why I say that, right? Because the commissioners, I think we have some great commissioners, have given you, because the commissioners select the county manager, right?
That is correct.
They vote on it.
Yep.
So they have taken a chance, or they have decided, hey, we're going to do something we've never done before. So the pressure is on you to make sure that you live up to that, because it will affect every decision coming behind you. That's a lot of pressure. So when you think of the pressures, do you feel the pressures? Do you see the pressures when you walk in rooms? Do you see it or you feel it?
Yes. I mean, I think for me, it's a lot of self-inflicted pressure to be the first, to be the first of anything is a little daunting. I mean, highly blessed and humbled and honored for that, but I also don't want to be the reason to be the last. And so
Exactly.
For me, it's self-inflicted pressure. I have great support from the county commissioners. They've placed their faith and trust and confidence in me, which I appreciate, but I also want to make sure I don't, that I live up to their expectations and others' expectations. And then I also have high expectations for myself. So yeah, I feel that.
So when you make decisions, right, I'm going to move back for a second. So there's this thing called manager's recommendation, right?
There is.
Is that the correct term?
It is.
So, I'm getting old, and sometimes, I ain't as sharp as I used to be, right? But like, when you look at the manager's recommendation, right, what is that? What is a manager's recommendation? Explain that. You probably can explain it better. So can you explain, what does that mean?
So and I'm assuming you're talking about when it's budget time.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay. When there's a manager's recommendation, then I and my team are assessing what we feel are the needs and priorities based on the budget that we have. And so I put forth a recommendation to the county commissioners of how we should utilize.
Manager singular, right?
Manager singular.
Okay,
I put forth a recommendation to our county commissioners for them to then vote and approve or deny the county budget.
So I've always wondered that, right? I used to hear it from your predecessor. When you look at that, how do you conclude what your recommendation is going to be? I want to know that, because I know it's going to be coming soon. I just want to know, what factors do you bear in mind?
Okay. So I think most people know I'm a data person. So
we know that.
Okay. So I'm going to be looking at data and measures of success and outcomes. And so I actually have a team right now working on kind of revamping our performance measures process, because we want to make sure we're making good decisions and we have good data points, identifying those trends, seeing what's worked, what hasn't. And I also think, as department leaders, we have to be real with each other on, if it hasn't worked, then we need to do something different, reallocate those dollars to the things that it really needs to be. And then, what are we doing that's going to move the needle in the community? And then the other part is that we also have a lot of statutory obligations. So my first and foremost, I'm going to be looking at the budget on what we're statutorily required to do, because we have to put the budget towards those items. And then if we're not statutorily, what then do we have left over to then continue to help move the needle?
I don't know if you can answer this question, right? And it may be a little awkward. I've been known to ask awkward questions. How much money does the county really have? You gave me the budget, right? Mm-hmm. That's just what they're willing, to put out there for a budget, right? What's important, right? A budget is basically what's important.
No. So I think people really do think we have like this just money sitting on the side that,
So how much
money
we got?
We have a budget of $583 million.
No, that's the budget.
Yeah, but
like my budget for my household is different from how much money I have.
So at the end of the year, whatever we have, quote unquote,
how much
left
we got this
over, whatever we have, quote unquote, left over, we call pay-go funds. Like
how much we got?
We had like $7 million, but those $7 million then need to be reallocated to assist with this year's budget. So we don't have like extra money. We also have a lot of debt. So our primary funding streams, right, is property tax, sales tax. We have some intergovernmental things. And then our expenses is our highest expense is education, followed by public safety, which includes the sheriff's office, then health and human services, and then debt. And then it's really comprised of.
So you don't want to tell me how much money we got? That's what you're saying.
We have a budget of $583
That's the budget. That would be like me asking somebody or somebody saying, "Well, Kimbrough, what is your budget for your household for the year?"
But that is what it is. We're allocating the revenues that we have. The revenues that we estimated is $583 million, and then we try to utilize and have.
So where do you get the $583 million
from? Property taxes, sales taxes, intergovernmental, and all of the other things that we're estimating.
So all of the other things that you just mentioned, what do we collect?
We're estimating that we're going to have $583 million of revenue. And then by the end of the year, we will see how that works out. So I'll give a perfect example.
Please do.
We estimated an amount for what we call Article 46 sales tax, which is supposed to go to the schools for teacher supplements.
Right.
I can't remember the total amount, but the amount that we estimated we would receive.
So if you give them the money, will it break you?
When we budgeted the amount that we thought we were going to receive at the end of the year, it came back almost $800,000 less, which is the first time that happened last year.
So you could afford to give the teachers the raise then.
It was $800,000 less than what we budgeted to. So we gave them more money than we actually received.
Did it break you?
We're having to figure out how to right size the budgets in that way. So again,
Do you have the money to right size it? I'm just asking. I'm not an accountant.
I'm not an accountant either, but I have accountants. We are working through it.
So in other words, you have the money.
We are working through it.
You know, I've always heard this, right? I'm gonna move on because
You told me you were going to ask anything about the budget.
I didn't know I had to tell you the questions we're going to ask. It's called off the cuffs. That's why we speak freely off the cuff. But listen.
I'm going to drink some water.
Yeah. So, I was thinking about something, right? And I've really been excited that you were coming because I rarely get a chance to get you, like, right here, right? So, let's say, hypothetically, just like a wish list, right?
Okay.
Well, we have the money. If we wanted to increase the wages of the people that serve the citizens of this county, if we want to give everybody in Forsyth County that works for you $1 raise, right? $1 raise, could we afford it?
I honestly don't know that yet. So right now we are
based on what you know. Now you see numbers. I know that. I know you. You're a numbers person.
I see some numbers.
Yeah, you see all the numbers. I know that. So based on the numbers you have seen, could we afford to give the people $1 raise?
So
that's 100 pennies.
Today, within our $583 million budget, no. Now, as we are,
so you keep playing with that word budget.
While we are preparing for our FY26 budget, which would be July 1st,
right.
We will get new estimates on what revenue will look like, and then we will be able to look at kind of what expenses are. And so I don't know because we are in budget preparation time. So I don't know that at this time. And it also depends on what departments, offices like Sheriff's Office ask for to see if there's then enough money left over for the people.
For the record, we never get what we ask for. We get some of it, but for the record.
You've received a lot.
We've given a lot. Too much, you know what I mean?
Next topic.
Yeah, I know you want to go next time. So who would I have to speak with if I wanted to know, or what procedure would I have to go through to know how much money this county has?
I can give you our financial statements. It's actually should be online, but I can give you our financial statements.
It'll show me exactly what we're worth?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd like to know that.
Okay. I'm gonna email you a copy.
Can I publish it?
It's public record.
Saying I can post it on our Facebook and everywhere?
It's already on our website. You can post it.
Yeah, most people don't go to your website. You know, that's like hiding it in that hay.
It is.
Yeah.
Forsyth.cc for anyone who would like to
So
come
you've
on
seen
our
it?
website. Yeah, we just finished
So how
our
much we got there?
FY24 audit.
How much we got?
I didn't bring the statement with me.
Wow.
I did not bring the statement with me. We'll get it to you.
Yeah. So I'm going to move on because I know you don't like talking numbers. I get that, right? So what's day-to-day like for you?
Well, like I said, each day is different. I'll tell you, Monday morning, I woke up early because I had to make a decision on whether or not the county was going to delay opening, right, or come in at regular time. So, each day is different. I will tell you, I spent a lot of time in meetings. And then I end up I stay late and work on the weekend so that I can actually get caught up on real work. So I have to make decisions on a day-to-day basis on approving contracts for individuals' budgets to make sure it aligns with what our commissioners approve.
You do that because I've seen you on the cameras working late and coming early. Yeah.
On the cameras?
Yeah.
Oh.
You do know we have cameras.
I'm aware.
Yeah. So I will say that in all sincerity, you do put in more than enough. You give what it takes to be successful, and that's probably what has gotten you to this place. Your work ethic, your math skills, but your work ethic. I'm gonna say, yeah. So let me ask you another question. So, how do you juggle that? You say you have husband, kids. How do you juggle that? Being a mom, being a wife, and also being the CEO of a county?
I will tell you that I am a work in progress. My family has given me a lot of grace. So I don't do a great job with work-life balance at all. I'm working on it. It is hard to juggle because I want to be everywhere for everyone. So even on, the weekends, if we have teams out in the community, which we do a lot, I like to go out and show my support for them. If they're there, then, I want to also be there. I'm also, on a personal note, I'm very involved in my church.
I know.
So I go to Piney Grove Baptist Church. I'm a church clerk. I'm on the outreach ministry. I was just voted to be the chair of the outreach ministry. I don't know how that happened, but it did. I'm on the women's ministry, so I'm very involved in church stuff. I'm also, work long hours for the county, but I want to do that. And then I also have my family that gives me a lot of grace as well. So
you're
I'm
a true
working
servant.
on it.
That's interesting you say that. I was having a conversation with one of my buddies, and we was talking about servant leadership. We was talking about leaders, and so many times people that are great leaders have been great servants. And I think that's a reflection of the things you just mentioned. But I do want you to take that accounting class and help us out a little bit. But on another note, so what do you see in the future, not only as we kind of bring this home, what do you see in the future for you, and what do you see in the future for the county?
Well, I would say for me personally, I hope to be here. I want to stay in Forsyth County. I want to retire here. So
you're relatively young.
I hope to stay in Forsyth County as the county manager. And that's kind of, and truth be told, county management was never something I aspired to be. It's just something that has happened for me, which I don't 100% understand, but I also am very just kind of, spiritual in a way that I just follow this path that I don't 100% understand.
God takes you.
So I don't 100% understand it, but I am following that path. And I think that because I am very passionate about serving the community and servant leadership, that I'm hoping that benefits our community and that we see true progress. And so, I want to do a good job. but I'm very grounded, and being the county manager, that status does not get to my head. I'm about doing the work. I'm comfortable being behind the scenes, just doing things, making things happen. And so, I hope for this community as I'm here that we will see improvements in poverty and see our residents really have better economic mobility and opportunities.
When you were talking, what I was thinking was, and you hit it on the head, that you following God's path for you. That's strong, because God always equips those that He calls. I remember when I first got here, and you and I were having this back and forth about HR, and you reminded me that was your wheelhouse, and I never forgot that, right? And now here you are as the county manager, and that's a true testament that God equips those that He calls. Sure, I got one last question before I bring it home. I know you're a busy woman, and you're a busy person, and you have things to do, places to go, and fires to put out. So there are how many agencies within county government?
So we have about 25 departments.
Okay.
And an office of the sheriff.
Exactly. So the office of the sheriff and 25 departments of county government, right? Do you have favorites that you like working with? I mean, do you have, I know all of them are very intricate in county government. I know this, and I get that, right? But,
So, no, I don't have favorites. I always say there is no job that is too big or too small. You treat them all the same? I treat everyone the same, because it all fits into the puzzle of how we are able to serve our residents.
Sometimes I can't tell the way y'all divide them numbers, but the budget, but it's all right.
Again, public safety, which is the sheriff's office, is the
Do you think that's
largest. But I would say the budget reflects that it is a priority.
Do you think, that's a good question. I was going to close, but let me ask that before we go. Do you think that public safety is the priority of a county?
I think public safety is a priority.
I say the priority of a county.
I think it is a priority of the county.
What would you say the priority of a county is?
I think there are a lot of priorities of the county.
I've always subscribed to this theory, right? And I could be wrong, and like I said, but you can't have nothing without safety, right?
I don't disagree.
You can't have school. You can't have nothing. You can't have hospital. You can't have nothing. There's no such thing as freedom without safety.
I would agree with that.
Right? It's the safety that allows you to be free in pursuit of happiness. But that's another conversation. I want you to know something, that you truly are of the people in the community. You represent this entire community well. We are very grateful that the commissioners chose you. I can honestly see a difference already in how you're out in the community, how you are accessible. And I will tell you that you said, balancing that family life. I've been accused of that as well. You don't have an 8 to 5. Everything that you talk about operates 24/7, 365, right? And so there's a sacrifice, and you're sacrificing for the people. And on behalf of the people, I appreciate you. I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come by and join us on Off the Cuffs. We look forward to many years of you doing a great job. And when you do your manager's recommendation, we would appreciate if you consider us a little more strongly. And as always, again, I want to thank you all for joining us. I appreciate the support and the love that you have shown us. Again, today we were with Ms. Shontell Robinson, the county manager for Forsyth County. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your week.